Hello, and welcome to the first in a series of internet marketing webinars by Michael Green. These are, of course, the product of How To Corp and are produced in association with our software Traffic Paymaster. Now, today I'm here to talk to you about your most important product online. And I guess I should start by talking about which product of mine is the most important. Now, I'm sure many of you would assume that it might be Traffic Paymaster software. I'm sure a lot of you use that. Or maybe it might be one of my ebooks, for example, my 2006 edition of 10 Success Habits to Swell Your Bank Balance. Or maybe the more recent How to Bounce Back from Recession. Or, of course, one of my many toolkits, some of which you can see here. Now, I wouldn't blame you for thinking that any of these things was my most important product, as, of course, if you've used them, you'll know how great they are. But I'm sorry to say that you're wrong on all counts, actually, for the most important product of any online marketer, and me in particular, can be seen here. Your most important product is you, and that's what I'm here to talk about today. Now, let me show you a picture of me. As you well know, this is me. Now I'm going to show you another picture of me. Now I think that this second picture of me is a more flattering one, is one that it better represents who I am, what I look like, what I'm about. And so it is this image that I use on a lot of my promotional material, in the biog sections of my ebooks and that. Now, this ability to choose what one looks like is one of the beauties of the internet, I think, to have these two images and to say that the one on the right better represents me. The one on the right looks more like me than the photo of me. This is an important part of the internet. It's why people like the internet, I think, and it's a part of the internet that we should be using more online. And so that's what I'm going to talk to you about today, is how to use this ability to your advantage in online marketing. Now, I'm sure most of you have a Facebook page. Facebook is one of the internet's success stories so far, I would say. How To Corp and Facebook. And I think one of the reasons that Facebook appeals so much is because of this ability to kind of design yourself, to edit who you are, to present the bits of you that you like, to edit your history and to rewrite your history even, and to only put in bits that you want about your history, this kind of thing. And this really appeals to people. It means that you can kind of be who you want to be, project what you want to be in life, and this is known as self-actualization. Now, I mean, I'd stop before that and say that like Facebook doesn't actually help with self-actualization in that it's just an image. You're not actually living this kind of projection of yourself. It's more an idea of what you'd want to be. But even that is it's a nice feeling for people, and is partly behind its success, I think. Now, I'm sure you'll want to stop me there, and say that, Facebook hasn't had a lot of great press recently. There's a lot of people have kind of misgivings about the kinds of things that Facebook does. Maybe you've seen an image like this one recently. And, these are they're all over the internet at the minute. A lot of people have kind of thinking about this in terms of what Facebook and other social media does, Maybe this one too. I'll leave you to read that for a second. Now, what I would say to that is that it's not an unfair reflection of what Facebook is, really. You are kind of... Part of its business model is working off of you, that your identity is kind of what is the product, is what is being sold, that you are both doing the legwork in terms of creating yourself and allowing yourself to be sold by Facebook to advertisers and that. But I think to see this as a negative thing is a kind of a misreading of what's happening. I mean, really, because it's all you. You are both the kind of the means in terms of constructing your identity, and your identity is the product at the end. So you could say you are both the means and the production, which is that's what we've been fighting for all along. It's happened. The revolution is here. Now, I guess the next question is kind of how do you turn that great state of affairs into money for you rather than just for Facebook? So essentially, how do you go from here, from this image next to me, to one more like this, to have this being for you, is what I'm saying. And this is all to do with selling yourself, is to understand that you're constructing this identity for other people, and that this is kind of a state that we've gotten to at the minute. Is that in capitalism right now, I'd say that you're both selling your labor, but you're also selling your identity. That your identity is a part of your labor. I would say I could go so far as to say that. And that's what people are after. That's what employers are after, and that's what your customers are after. More importantly, so we all use Facebook. We all understand that we're kind of constructing ourselves online already. But how can we do this better? How can we make Facebook work for us? Facebook become the money printer that we're chasing. And I guess what we've got to look at is what customers are looking for from you, what they're looking for from a product, and you being the most important product, because it's from you that they buy their products. And trust is huge in this, particularly over the internet. And so what we've got to look at is what you can do to your identity to make people trust you more. Essentially, what lies can we tell people that will make you more trustworthy? Maybe we can start with picking a name. Now, your real name, your primary name, if we'll call it that, might not be the one that you want to use. Maybe it doesn't sound that trustworthy. Maybe it sounds a bit foreign or something, or maybe you just want to keep different bits of your life split from each other. So maybe you don't want your internet marketing career to be what everyone knows about you. Maybe these different parts of your life are separate, and the internet is great for allowing that. So let's pick a name. Let's see how to pick a name. Recently, there's been lots of stories about undercover policemen and how they were using different names and different identities, really. Now, I looked into how they were picking their names, and for them, they'd keep a lot of them would keep their first name and just change their last name to help with conversation and reacting right. That's not as important over the internet as you have time to reply. So you can change your whole name, but the way they would choose their last names was often just to pick color names. So brown, green, white, grey, this kind of thing. And that was how I chose my name. So we have a green, which is a good, strong, trustworthy name, I would say. Now, you might feel a bit strange about using different names over the internet, but it's quite common, actually. So the other day I got an email from a person called Rose Sober, and after reading through it a couple of times, I began to suspect that maybe this wasn't her real name, her kind of offline state name, if you will. A couple of things gave it away, the way that she was kind of overly familiar with me, whilst also she seemed to not be aware of how important I was. And so I began to suspect that maybe she was what's known as a 419 scam, which is where people will pretend to be other people and will kind of entice you to give them some money somehow. Now, these are quite common over the internet. The Metro reported recently that this was an economy that was worth £6 billion a year. And that just goes to show that using other names over the internet does pay. Now, if you still have misgivings about it, I'd say the other thing I would say is, if it's good enough for the police, then I'm sure it's good enough for your company. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, really. Next, let's return to image. Now, this may be a photo of you. This might be a very accurate image of who you are, what you are at the minute, But I'm not sure if customers would take to that image that much, so maybe it would be worthwhile selecting another image of yourself that maybe better is more accurate in terms of reflecting who you want to be, if not who you are. And so an image like this, maybe I would say, is more like who you are. I think this is a more accurate picture of you than the picture of you. Images like this are quite easy to find. I mean, I would just advise going onto Google and searching like stock photo successful businessmen or something like that, and it will bring up lots of images like these, and any of these would be suitable, really. I mean, I think particularly the ones of businessmen celebrating, I think, is a good image to have. So kind of putting these two things together and some other kind of character traits and all that, what you're trying to do is to construct a whole world around your customer, to construct it for them in the image that they want, essentially. And I guess in that sense, maybe I was kind of wrong about what I said before about Facebook being a projection of the you that you want. It might actually be more accurate to call it a projection of the you that other people want. That's over Facebook, you're selling yourself as an identity. It's all a kind of commodified experience, and that commodification entails being what other people want rather than being what you want, in a sense. I mean, someone on my Facebook wall shared this the other day, and I think this kind of really sums up what this talk is about. If you have a look here. Your smile is your logo, your personality is your business card. How you leave others feeling after an experience with you becomes your trademark. And it's that kind of reading of the self in terms of commodity, in terms of exchange, that is what I'm really getting at here, and is the beauty of Facebook. Now we're coming to the end of my webinar today, and I'm going to leave you with a bit of homework before my next one, in which we'll learn how to use all of this and to turn it into hard cash, essentially. But for now, can you spend your time choosing an image and a name for yourself? And next time we'll look about how to turn that into money. In the meantime, of course, keep checking out our websites. We've got lots of free handy tips there, as we do on Twitter. And don't forget to connect with me on Facebook as well. I've been Michael Green. Thank you.